Alright guys, we're going to do another rocket stump, except this one's just a lot bigger. So that's a 25-inch bar on the 361. So we're probably about a 30-inch stump here. I'm going to see if I can whittle her core the center, bring a hole through the side, and make something happen. I'm about out of battery, so I doubt I'll film the coring. Alright guys, we're going to try this rocket stump deal again. I'm sure some of you might say, oh, you could just dig that stump out like they did on the last one, but yeah, I don't have 6 months of my life to waste on digging this thing out. And my little mini won't dig it out either. Not without destroying the entire yard. So, got the center cord out. It's laying over here, our little burn pit. Real good little trick for lifting those out is to screw a lag bolt down in there with a big washer on it and pry them out. Now this thing is dry and hard. I'm gonna get burning on it today. Toss a bunch of these shavings down in there. And that's the 038 mag. I had to get it out. I was trying to do it with the 361 and the 25-inch bar. I've just struggled. Been doing another video on rebuilding the trailer, so the battery on this thing's dead, so I didn't show cutting this thing out, but I'm gonna try something a little different. Airplane's flying low. I'm gonna try something different. Core out, and then I'm gonna do two. I've done 2 slices. I might do 3. Do one more slice down here with the 360 to create my airflow path, and let that kind of burn itself out and see if that does any better than actually coring a big hole out of the bottom too. But we'll see how that goes. Light it off. We'll see how she does here in a little while. Alright, it's self-drafting so-so, but needs a little help to get good and burning. Alright guys, we're probably 3 hours later from when we started. I started around 2, it's around 5:30 now. Took me a little while to get things moving, but finally got all the chips cleared out. And it's burning pretty good. As you can see, about anything you stuff in it, it burns up pretty quick. It is drawing pretty good. I'll see if I can actually get a view down here. Yeah, you can see. Instead of coring out a big square, I just decided to do these 2 slits, and maybe I should have done them on each side and the back for a total of 4, but it is it's not showing on camera, but I can see it with my eye. Yep, you can see the orange down in there. So she's drafting pretty good through those couple slits. And when the thing is, when you core it out real big, this tunnel starts catching on fire too, and then it burns up through there and you sort of lose your chimney effect real quick. So I decided to go with slits. So it sat here and burnt for 3 hours by itself without really anything loaded in it. I'm out here now just to load some stuff in it and see if I can get the heat built. So Throw a little air to it here, see how she does. Burns good, it's just how much air you want to throw to it. I got to be careful though, because I'm real close to the garage. I'll give you perspective on, yeah, I'm probably 10 feet from the garage. So the wind is, it's not real windy, slight wind, sort of light breeze blowing towards the garage. So, got my rake and a little bit of water to put out any fires. All right, guys. Now we're at 4.5 hours. About another hour's passed. You can see in the last video I had the air blow into it. And when I shut the air off, flame quit coming out of the top. I don't really care about that because the key is the flame is down the bottom. But a little bit ago I took this maul and it's burnt in deep enough. So I'm gonna get the camera down here. Still on the tripod. The flame is probably within about 6 inches of the opening. And I was able to take that maul and knock that chunk out. And since I've done that, that extra airflow has really got her burning good. So let's see if I can roll the camera down and put it up over the top without burning the camera up. So yeah, it's burning in there real good. So with that extra airflow, this thing will sit here and burn by itself all night. Yep, sorry, I shouldn't be putting my hand on the lens to angle it back up. And that's the beauty of this. This will probably, I put maybe an hour in, hour and a half cutting it out, getting it ready. And then I've maybe got another hour just stoking a little bit of wood in. I've really put very little in this because this stump is so dry. And it pretty well just sits here and burns on its own for about 3 hours while I watched the NASCAR race and had a drink in the house. And I came back out here now, and it's doing real good. So this thing will sit here and burn. I don't have to deal with trying to dig it up or anything else. I don't have to spend $1,500 or $2,000, have a stump grinder come out here and grind it down, hopefully. Again, I'm real early in the process. I'm hoping that that heat will burn way down in and burn this thing off about flat with the ground. So it does take, I think I said in the last video, that stump wasn't very dry. This stump's been sitting for a while, so it is real dry. I cut it off at an angle to make sure anytime it rained it shed water. So I'm hoping for a lot better result with this big stump. So we'll see how it goes. All right guys, it is 8:30 at night. I started at 2:30 today, so we're about 6 hours in. And you can see the mouth of the opening where it's intaking air has opened up quite a bit. The top is still doing pretty good, and she is drafting real well. So it will definitely sit here and burn all night, slow and easy. I just threw a piece of wood down in there to get the flames going, but that's the progress. 6 hours. Still 6 hours in, just threw in a little load of wood. You can probably see a couple pieces. Leaf blower sitting there, not running. The bottom has opened up a good bit. So, getting a pretty good burn. Again, I'm hoping to really get the heat down in this thing, and hopefully she'll start burning down. Right now it hasn't burned down too much. So maybe that'll change here in a little while. She might just burn off flat. Never know until we burn them. All right, guys, it is 3 o'clock the next day. So I went from about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, all the way to 3 o'clock the next day. I have not touched it since last night. This is pretty well how it burnt down on its own. See, it did actually burn in pretty deep to where ground level, we're definitely down below that in a good bit of areas. The back is still pretty hard, so more to do, but not bad for the first day. All right, guys, 7 o'clock the next day, full 24 hours from the last video. We had, you can see some limbs over there by the shop, maybe not too many over here. Neighbor lost a real big chunk of a tree, actually landed on their house. Big storm blew through about 5:30 this morning. Dumped a bunch of rain about 6 o'clock or 6 a.m. Still didn't put the stump out. So she's still been sitting here burning pretty good. Ground level, we're down probably 3-4 inches. The back is still pretty solid though. So we need to do some more burning. So got a pile of wood here I'm gonna throw on and go from there. I have not thrown any wood on other than I laid some of these sticks on top of it earlier, and they just pretty well burnt in half. So see, the ends are a little bit burnt. So I've probably lost most of my rocket stove action, but we'll still put some heat to it and see if we can't get this back chunk to burn in a little deeper. Well, it'll keep burning for a good while now. Well, another 24 hours later, and it didn't get very far. It's been raining a lot. So, definitely got a couple inches. So, we'll have to pick back up on this later. Who puts stairs in a fire pit? I guess I do. So I had this big chunk of concrete laying around. As you can see, burn in real good on most of this stuff. I mean, we're well down into the dirt in a lot of areas. So I've been using this as a fire pit. As you can see, my normal fire pit's right there. So not far away, so it's not real inconvenient. But the thing I don't like is sort of between the house and the garage. I get some horrible air currents, it swirls, it does all kinds of stuff, so it's just not great. So I'm trying to basically do this thing in right now. So the reason of this is to block, it's sort of, I'm trying to focus the heat on that side because that's still where most of the wood is, and it's left in the stump, and that lets me put a little bit of wood in there, really concentrate the heat. It's also forcing the air to come down and under and create a suction, because I put in some bricks down here to sort of block the airflow and force it to suck through and keep some speed, and that helps keep the smoke down. It's smoking a little bit, but not too bad. That wood's kind of wet, but hopefully this will be the last day of burning, and then I'm gonna start digging it out. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for the stump. As you can see, this is a real big maple stump, probably almost 60 inches in diameter down here at the root base. And the roots are wet and they're softening up. But you can tell, I mean, I was abusing the excavator pretty good, trying to dig this stuff up. And it's just not worth it to beat on an old excavator like that that's weak anyway. And I've pretty well got the thing down to the ground level that I really want anyway. It's a little high right there, but I might just do some hand digging around it and bob it off with the chainsaw, and then have everything pretty well at ground level, just fill it in with dirt and pretty well let it rot away. So that's going to conclude it for this little project. I hope you guys liked and enjoyed, and subscribe, and we'll be having more to come.